Well, hello and welcome to a new video where we are going to take a look at the performance of Counter-Strike 2 on the Lenovo ThinkPad T480 with the Nvidia MX150 as well as an i7-8550U. So we have a 4-core CPU as well as the Nvidia dedicated GPU in here, and we're trying this at 1080p with the low settings but with the native 1080p resolution. So we're not using any FSR upscaling, so this should give us a good indication how well it runs when you play natively at 1080p. And this is obviously a Dust 2 deathmatch game, so we should see some action. And yeah, so far this runs pretty nicely. You have to say though that the T480 throttles pretty aggressively, which is why you're only seeing the 50 watts on the CPU right now already, which I actually placed like this limit on 15 watts for the CPU is what I actually placed there, due to the fact that if it runs too hot for too long, the GPU as well as the CPU will throttle down pretty hard and therefore make it basically an unplayable experience in this game, and I guess in basically every game. You can also see that we are already in a temperature limit, which is around the 70-degree mark here for this system, for the GPU as well as for the CPU. But yeah, at 1080p, if it's allowed to run, I guess it is quite alright, because it feels super smooth. You have no dips here and there, so no micro stutters, which would be annoying. But then again, you also do see some drops down to the 30s here. And yeah, I would just go ahead and enable FSR now and see just how much better we get. Let's go to the quality FSR setting here. All right, and we're still at 1080p, but with quality FSR enabled, and it looks a lot less sharp than before. So FSR definitely diminishes the picture quality of the game quite a lot, even at the quality setting. But I do believe that we are seeing some substantial uplift in the FPS here, and it feels definitely smoother than before. Even though we're still dropping into the 30s sometimes, so it's still not a perfect experience here. And if you compare this to the performance of Counter-Strike Global Offensive, where you probably would get around the 80 to 90 FPS here with this graphics card, yeah, it's quite sad, but I mean, it is what it is, and I guess you can still play the game if you want to. Obviously, the MX150 is a Pascal generation GPU, but of course it's the weakest one at that. And since it's what, 7 years old by now, I guess, it's still quite good for a very small dedicated GPU. But obviously every integrated iGPU from nowadays will easily beat this one here. So I guess Counter-Strike 2 is oriented for these modern iGPUs, which definitely will be running this game a lot better than this card can. But yeah, nevertheless, you can definitely play it, and I mean, it's not a competitive experience, but if you want to play it here casually on the go, it definitely is possible and enjoyable.